Thank you all for joining us tonight. My name's Sarah Luker. I am the Director of Admissions, and we're just thankful that you're going to spend your time with us tonight. We're going to go over a lot of good information that'll help you and your student prepare for the fall. And so what I wanted to do to get started is just go over a little bit of an agenda. So in a minute, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Justin Brownlee. He's an admissions representative, and he's going to walk you through what are the steps to get started here at Muskegon Community College. You all may be in various stages. Some of you might still be thinking about going to college. Some of you might already be registered to actually attend here this fall, or some of you are in the middle there, that A to Z range. So we're just going to walk you through that just so that that's clear. If you have any questions, please chime in. You don't have to wait until the end. This is a really, informal, casual presentation today. Then following that, we're going to go over some information about how do students get the books at the bookstore and how does that work? There's some new money available from Promise, so that'll help you with paying for books, which is a bonus. So we want to make sure that you're all clear on how that works. Following that, we're going to go over some quick introductions. Think of it as an elevator pitch for other people around the college here at Muskegon Community College who can help your students. So you're going to learn a little bit more about who they are, what department they're from, and how they might be able to support you on your journey here as a Jayhawk. And then following that is kind of the main event, if you will, where we're going to pass the baton over to financial aid and Muskegon Promise staff, and they're going to be able to go over all the ins and outs of what to expect, how does Promise work, what does my student need to do to make sure the money's here, other questions that you might have throughout the time tonight. They will be able to cover all of that. We'll wrap it up with a bow, opportunities for additional questions. We've got swag here, stickers and lanyards and flyers. So, you guys can come down and get that. Restrooms, just some housekeeping, are straight outside behind me, the men's and the ladies' room, so feel free to grab that. And then when we wrap it up, some of us will be here if you guys want to chat one-on-one with us, have some questions that maybe you don't want to ask in a big room. And then we'll have opportunities for tours, which we would love to show off our beautiful facilities to you. So I'm going to just pinch it really quick because counseling, I'm going out of order already, but counseling wasn't able to be here today. So I hope that you all grabbed the flyers on the way in. If not, they're all here. There's one that's colored, okay, and it says Muskegon Community College Counseling and Advising Pathways. So I just want to reference this for you because this kind of shows you who your person is based on your major. So if okay, I want to go into engineering, then my counselor is Lisa. Or if I want to go into business, my counselor is Trefney. It does talk about how to make appointments, what their hours are, on the back side, some frequently asked questions, and it also does talk about disability services, which I wanted to point out. So if your student had an IEP or a 504 in high school, that doesn't translate automatically over to college. There's some additional steps that need to be taken. And it also does highlight the name of the counselor who can help your student with that. So yeah, definitely take a look at that, and there's a lot of good resources there. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Justin, who is going to roll with it and tell you a little bit about how to get the ball rolling here at MCC.
All right, yes. Good afternoon. We do want to thank you guys for taking some time out to, think about your future. Just thank you. So right now we're getting to we're on our website and we're going to walk through our admissions checklist. So first step. I think first step, apply. We need to apply. Even if we're not even choosing to come, we need to apply. Apply. So I'm just making sure I make eye contact with everybody. Feel free to go to our website. If you need any questions, you can come up to campus and stop into our welcome center. Those beautiful individuals up there will help you with any questions you have about apply. It's real user friendly, apply. Step 2, we encourage you to fill out your financial aid, FAFSA. Super important for supporting, your college financial goals. It's so much money out there for individuals going to college, and as you guys know, you're here for the promise, so we don't want to leave any money on the table. So let's check out FAFSA. Let's fill out that information. You and your student or you and your parent will have to sit down and put in some information, and you'll be ready to rock. Our third step will be complete course placement. So good news and bad news. Good, maybe it depends. So course placement has been halted for all courses besides engineering, nursing, and respiratory therapy. Thank you. So if you're not interested in those three programs, you won't have to take a placement test. But if you're interested in respiratory therapy, engineering, and nursing, you will probably take a placement test. And if you do participate with the tour a little bit later, I can show you where our testing center at, where you can take those tests. Our fourth step is to complete our mandatory orientation. What is it, 6 videos? How many videos?
You guys are lucky right now. It's about 35 minutes of video.
Okay.
Maybe about a month, and it will be under 10 minutes.
There we go. So we're working to get that under 10 minutes. So right now we got a few videos up there, but it is mandatory. It is super important for your onboarding process to know what's sort of kind of going on campus, to get a feel for campus. So don't be like me and go to your orientation. It is super important. All right, and step 5 is, this is a super important step, we're going to schedule an appointment with a counselor. Our counselors are like the ground support for getting you right on the pathway to success. So they help you map out in your plans and your courses. I'm stumbling on that one though. So it's super important that you visit with a counselor. Everybody in there is super friendly. I know right now they do have express times, express drop-in hours for quick questions, but I know if you're an upcoming student, you will want to go on the website and schedule an appointment and sit down and have that conversation about your future. Super, super important step. And then that 6th step is, it's a simple step, but it gets missed a lot. You actually have to go back into your online profile and click register. So on step 5, you'll talk to a counselor. They'll sit down with you and plan out your classes. They'll put your information in. You'll be feeling like you're ready to rock and roll because you'll see your courses are scheduled and what time and what date you have to be there. But you also have to manually press register. A lot of students come up in the fall ready to go to class and they have a planned caseload and not a enrolled registered caseload. So it is the final step. It is a simple step, but it is a step that is overlooked a lot. So make sure that we click register as our final step. So we're going to speed through the 6 steps. So step 1, apply. Boom. Step 2, we're going to complete our financial aid. We're going to visit FAFSA.gov. Step 3, we're going to complete our course placement if we need it. Step 4, we're going to complete mandatory orientation, and the month is going to be a little bit shorter. Right now, we got a few videos up there. And then step 5, we're going to schedule a meeting with a counselor so we can get on the right path to success. And step 6, we're going to click register for classes. So it seems like a lot, but I know everybody in this room is capable and able to do all of these steps. We believe in you, and you can do these things. You can do it. So is there any other questions in the crowd about the 6-step process? This is always available on our website. So yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
Some students may have been dual enrolled or done direct credit. What do they need to do to make sure that they can use their financial aid on their application?
Hi everybody, I'm Alice Glassford, Associate Director of Admissions. It's a great question for me because I'm in charge of dual enrollment. So if you previously took classes here, whether dual enrolled, maybe you thought about early college, anything like that, you will need to reapply to MCC because you're currently in the system as a high school student. And so we need to make sure that you're degree seeking. So please reapply and do all the same steps. One thing Justin forgot to mention, which is okay, is that we do also need high school transcripts. So that is part of the process. It is up on the website as well. So the biggest thing is to make sure that we have an official completed transcript. So once you are all done with school, you have your final grades, everything like that, we will need that sent over so we have GPAs, math scores, everything that we need is on that transcript. To be sent officially, you have to either have it sent through parchment.com, which is kind of a third-party website that can send it to us officially, or your high school counselor can send that to us via email. But we cannot accept it from the student, so just keep that in mind. But that's the only thing you missed. Great job. Good. Any other questions? Yeah.
If we already have our classes registered, are we still able to go see a counselor and change that?
Yes, absolutely. You can always make an appointment with a counselor. If it's a quick change, sometimes you can go to the express hours instead of waiting for another appointment. And if you ever need to change your major, anything like that, you're always able to do that.
And then I'm glad that you asked that. Incoming freshmen, what's the average? They change their major about like 3 to 4 times. So we do encourage you to speak with a counselor before you make that move. So just stop in the counselor if you are like hesitant. Just stop in. So, are there any more questions? Any other questions? All right, man. I appreciate y'all for listening to me, and I'd like to finish off by saying, "Go Jayhawks!"
And now we're going to go and talk about the bookstore. So, at the MCC bookstore, the reason we're spending a little bit of extra time on this is because the Muskegon Area Promise this year added a book stipend, so it's a cost of attendance stipend for all of our Promise students. You can get up to $500, 2 semesters a year, so that's up to $1,000, as long as you're enrolled in classes and you're meeting your Promise eligibility requirements. That is in addition to your tuition scholarship. So you can use those funds for pretty much anything that you see in the bookstore that is going to help you with college. So your ebooks are going to come out automatically. If you have course fees, those are going to come out automatically. And then you'll have other course materials. Maybe you are a nursing student and you need a stethoscope. You can use it for that. They sell laptops in the bookstore. You can use it for that. Okay? There's lots of options there. You use your funds in the bookstore by letting them know you are Promise eligible, and then they can check your account and they will take it out of there. Okay? And then you can use the money for this coming fall semester between 8/18 and 9/5. So that's right before the semester begins, so that you can pre-purchase those books if you need to. And then after 9/5, any of the $500 that you haven't spent through the bookstore is going to be refunded to the student. And that goes in a paper check to you at your house, the one that's on file with MCC, so you need to make sure that's always up to date. Or you can add in your bank account information and it will go there instead, okay? Direct deposit like a paycheck. For your bookstores, you can rent, buy, or you might have what's called First Aid Digital Program access. So for those, they work directly, the bookstore works directly with your teachers to make sure that the books you are getting access to are the correct books for your class and your section. So you might have a different teacher and maybe they selected different materials. You want to make sure it's your teacher, your time slot, okay? We have the largest selection here in the bookstore, either digitally or regular paper copies. They are available as new, used, or digital. There's the First Aid Digital Program, where those books are just going to be automatically charged to your Promise stipend, and then they'll be linked with your course in your MCC profile and their digital copies. You can rent textbooks and save money, so we encourage saving money if you don't need to keep a copy of that book. The bookstore is on campus, so if you decide to go on the tours today, they will show you where that is, so you know where to go and get any physical items that you need. If you drop a class, you have within 2 weeks of the start date of the class to return books for a full refund. So you can purchase that book, and then if you change your class that first week, you just go in the bookstore right away and do that. I also work in the library part-time. Please, if you rent a book, return it to the bookstore, not the library. Just saying. We don't know who you are, and they can't track every single rental that way. So it needs to go back to the bookstore. Okay? And you get cash back. If you did outright purchase your textbook from the bookstore, you can bring it back, and if that book is being used the next semester and they don't have an overabundance of them, they might buy it back from you for a partial cost. Okay? The bookstore team could not be here today, but they are very nice people, and they're going to be here. So if you go into the bookstore with your course schedule, they will help you. So you have that course schedule ready either on your phone or print a copy. Find your department and your class for the course materials. They're in order by those departments and classes for the physical copies. And then you want to match your schedules department with the course and section number to the correct items on the shelf, and check the QR code to make sure it's the right one. And then you can choose to buy, rent, or download your course materials. Okay? If you need any help with that, you just check with somebody in the bookstore and they will help you with that. So for First Day Digital, your learning materials that are required for class will be available before the first day of class through your MCC email. So you need to watch that MCC email regularly. You pay on average 32% less using the first access copy instead of canceling that first access and then having to buy the book and potentially an online code to go with it separately. So it is generally cheaper. And we do the Promise does cover that the first day digital access. And it can be stressful trying to get the right book and the right edition with the right person teaching the class. So it is one less thing to worry about if you are using First Day Digital. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is automatic. You have to opt out of the First Day Digital. Okay, so it's automatically going to be there. If you don't want that access, you want to check and see if you're going to need a digital code for your course, because if you just cancel it, you might end up paying more in the end. Okay? You can order your stuff online, and then if there are physical items, you pick them up in the bookstore. So you would go to the bookstore link on the website, click My MCC Bookstore to start ordering, add your courses, and you can see it asks you to pick your term, so like fall 2025, your department, so that might be Allied Health, that might be English, and then they ask you to pick your course number, so maybe 101, and then they'll actually ask you to pick your section number. That section number is what determines what time and place you are taking your class and who your professor is, so that's important to get the right section number. Then you can choose to rent or buy, because it preloads everything for you, and then you select how you want to get your order and click checkout. They will email you if it's something that's being shipped to your house. They'll email you when it ships. If you want to pick it up in store, they'll email you when it's ready to pick up in store. So they make it really easy. And again, you can walk into the bookstore and they will help you with all of that. Okay? Any questions about books? Where is the bookstore? So if you go in the front main entrance, the Welcome Center is right there. If you ever get lost, you can always ask them. But then if you're looking at the Welcome Center coming in the door, you just turn left and it's down the hall just a little ways. Okay? And again, if you want to see where it is during tour time, they will take you and show you the stuff. Any other questions?
So if you want to, you can purchase your book elsewhere with your stipend.
You can. So this makes it easier. Your stipend, if you're not using the bookstore, you have to wait until after the 2-week period. So you would have 2 weeks where you either spent your own money or you don't have a textbook and would end up falling behind. So it's a refund process after the fact. It's not a send me the bill, because I can't track 900 students' textbook bills. I just can't. But yes. If you decide to do something like buying it on Amazon or something like that, you can do that. Keep in mind, and I say this because my husband is a brand new MCC student, if it is a first access book, that requires digital access, you will need the code that your professor has to make sure that you can access the assignments, the tests, and the quizzes. So you want to find that out before you cancel any first access. Because otherwise, you're going to pay for the book, and then you'll pay separately for the digital code, and it is way more expensive. In his case, it was like an $80 difference. Okay, other questions? This slideshow will be sent to everybody who's accepted their promise tomorrow or the next day, and a video recording of tonight. So that will all be in there so that you have all the slides from the bookstore. Okay? Other questions? Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Amanda.
Just curious, is there any nursing students in here? No, none. Okay. Well, I am a nursing success coach, so I am nursing specific, but I just help navigate once you get through the admissions process. So you'll have a wait list, obviously. There's a wait list in nursing, but you can start those gen eds. So we help right from the beginning, like navigating through those gen eds, and then once you get into the program, we help with organization, study habits, test taking, how to navigate. Once you get into those nursing classes, you have a lot of different schedules. You've got lectures and labs and skills and test outs and clinicals. So it's overwhelming. So we're just here to help navigate through that, through the program. So there's 2 of us. So any nursing students, we're here and available just to help navigate once you get through the admission process and into the program.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Rachel Quick. I'm the first year experience coordinator here at MCC, and I'm actually housed in the academic support department. So that is what I'm here representing my department to tell you about. So first year experience is just a part of it, and first year experience is all about making the transition from either high school or real world. We have lots of adult learners at any stage. Anybody who's entering MCC, what I do is make that transition smooth. Okay, so I give all kinds of information. If you happen to see, I'm going to shout out this sheet here because we're throwing out a lot of jargon at you today. So, gen eds, enrolled, registration. If you don't know the difference, come get this. It tells it on here quite simply. So a lot of that, we don't want you to get confused with am I enrolled or am I admitted. There's a difference. So grab that sheet, make sure you get it straight, make sure that you're asking the right questions given that information. So that's just me, and then the rest of my department is where our tutoring services are located. So if you need help with a specific class, we offer content specific. So you could have you could have a tutor who took, let's say, Anthropology 104. They passed it well, they were recommended, they know the material, the professor said, hey, you should go tutor in this. And we hired them. So you can get help that way for a specific class. You can also get general help. So if you want a study plan, if you want to know how to interpret your syllabi, if you want help on using Blackboard, which is our learning management system, we have tutors who are available to help with that as well. It's also where we have the Writing Center. So tutoring is specifically for students. You have to have a student ID number and be able to log in that way to use tutoring services. The Writing Center is open to the public. So you do not have to be a student. You might have completed your associate degree here and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to transfer to Grand Valley. I need help with my admissions essay, or I need help with this scholarship essay. Go to the Writing Center. So there's also a handout over here. Dylan Hawk is our Writing Center manager. His card's up here. So use the Writing Center. We are on the website under academic support. So you can get all of this information there, our contact info, look at upcoming workshops, all of that kind of stuff. Thank you. So keep an eye on that. And we also offer math support. So is anybody in here not really great at math? Don't be scared. I was terrible. I got my first B in math. Anyone? Okay, all right. It's a good chunk. It's a good chunk, yeah. So don't be scared of math. We have a math support specialist whose job is to make you not scared of math. So please go down there, get some math help. If you don't want to work with our math support specialist, you can also work with our math tutors. So we're all about setting you up for success, making sure that once you're here and registered and in your classes, that you're passing them and that you're understanding the material and that you're doing well. So please, please, please come to the academic support department. Any questions about any of those services? I went through fast. Yes! It is free! Every service that the academic support department offers is free. Any other questions? That was a good one. Yeah? Okay.
Where do we find it?
So we are down on the 3rd level of MCC. So we're kind of down in the basement. It gets a little chilly, but it's a wonderful space. It's 3081 is the room number. And you can come in person if you want in-person help. You can also go online. So you can book an appointment if maybe you meet with a tutor that you really like. You can make an appointment with them online. All of our services are offered both in person and online. Any other questions? Great question, thank you. All right, that's what I got for you.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Willie German, and I am the Student Success Coach here. I'm located in room 1055, right across the hall from the library. Now, my job as a Student Success Coach, and I'm dedicated to empowering students to reach their full academic and personal potential. The goal is to support you and navigate you through the college journey with confidence and success. So, I see Promise students out here. Okay, all of you, I'm assuming, have graduated already. If you have, raise your hands, please. Okay, let's give them a clapping hand. Yep. You've crossed that journey, okay, with confidence and success. And my job now is to help you get to that goal of completion, which is graduation. You've heard some things about tutoring and success, and I'm just going to talk about a couple of things that we provide in our department. Let's see, let me put that there. If you take a look at this flyer here, okay, all of you should have that. We have a CARES team, and that CARES teams answer questions about things that may affect you or things that you may need assistance with. We have our Jayhawk Hub, which provides things like gas cards, loaner laptops, a food pantry, other resources and services also. Also, in our disability support services, we have a counselor that is licensed and certified to help with any type of disabilities or mental illness, to service you if you're going through things emotionally. And the student life is a real fun part because I didn't pass this out yet, but have things like student clubs. And I think I came around and talked to most of you, gave you some information. If you're interested in starting a club or like to be part of a club, please come in and stop in. You don't need an appointment. Just stop in. If you see me in the hallway, please stop me. And lastly, I would say our Veterans Affair. Veteran Services, we have a skilled and trained person in our Student Services Department that will assist and help with Veterans Affairs. For that, is there any questions? How many of you are excited about attending MCC? Raise your hand. Okay, great. All right. Welcome, Jayhawks.
All right. All of the MCC staff that have presented, there will be somebody to answer additional questions if you think about something along the way. We're going to now talk about the Promise and using it for financial aid. So when it comes to Promise students, you can always stop at the Welcome Center and say, who do I talk to? But here's your quick list. If it is, what happened to my Promise? How do I renew it? I am your student engagement specialist specifically hired by the Muskegon Area Promise, okay? Something goes wrong, you don't know what's going on, you forgot to do something, you need to change your college because you've graduated from MCC and you're gonna take the bachelor's option later, come see me, okay? If I'm not available, Megan Bayard-Caraba is my fantastic, glorious boss, and she is the Career and College Readiness Program Director. Our offices are at the Muskegon Area Career Tech Center, but if it is, my application hasn't been processed, she can't make that go any faster, okay? So she's if something is drastically wrong and you can't get a hold of me, she would be another step. Leslie Nelson is here presenting with me today. You want to talk for a minute? Introduce yourself.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Leslie Nelson. I'm a fellow Jayhawk grad from 30-some years ago, we'll just say that, but Yahoo, I'm back here as Associate Director, and I am the Promise person here for you. So if you're at the school and you have questions of, I went to the bookstore and they told me I don't have any money, or is my promise going to affect if I get this scholarship from my dad's employer or anything like that, you can come see any of us in financial aid. We're really nice too. We have candy all the time too. But you can always come and ask for me because I work really closely with Megan and mostly Lindsay, and so we know what's going on. So I'm your person in financial aid at MCC.
And you met Willie German, who is your student success coach here on campus. So you can get a hold of any one of us. He will be your go-to when it's, how do I get to tutoring again? Who do I talk to because I got a bill, but I don't think it's financial aid. I think it's a different department. Whatever you need, you can ask one of us, but Willie can be your on-campus stop in and see him person, okay? So let's talk about the Promise really quickly. Our Muskegon Area Promise students can be, at MCC, can be degree seeking, meaning you're going for an associate's degree, some sort of certificate or certification like CNA or an MA program. Or you might be a guest student where you are going somewhere else as your main school, but over the summer, starting next summer for new grads, you want to take a few classes at MCC to knock down your time and knock down that bill a little bit, okay? You have 10 years as an MCC student to use your Promise, or when you hit 72 credits, or when you hit your associate's degree, no matter where that associate's degree is from. Whichever one of those comes first, okay? So when you hit any one of those, your Promise money at MCC ends, and then you would look at, down at the bottom, it says, if you attend Baker College of Muskegon after MCC, there is a partial scholarship for those students. So if you finish here and you know you want to go get your BSN and you've already done your RN here at MCC, you can use Baker and get some money from us for that. Summer guests are limited to 12 lifetime credits in 10 years after high school graduation. Okay, is there anybody that is a summer guest student that's planning on classes next summer? Okay. You have 10 years. So in 10 years, if you haven't used the money, if you leave college because life happens, and then you come back, you have up to 10 years to use that money. Okay? If you don't use it, it's not being sent to you. It is going back into our Promise Fund for the next generation of students, because we want to make sure we can provide for as many students, including maybe someday your kids in 30 years, that type of thing. Yep.
I'm just going to throw in there, for the 72 credits, and this happens, I can tell you how many times I had dropped some classes as well, but if you dropped a class, that counts towards your 72 credits. So if it's a 4-credit class, that's counted as, if you drop it after the 2-week, or there's a 2-week period. So just keep that in mind if you're dropping classes, that does count towards your 72 credits.
It's 72 credits attempted. So we do have students who also start at MCC and then say, I'm going to go here, I'm switching colleges, and then they come back to MCC. It's your 72 credits attempted. So those credits that transfer in are part of that 72. Failed classes that you have to retake are part of that 72, okay? So that you don't fail classes, or you know what your decisions are, if you are thinking about dropping a class, you would stop into counseling and talk to them. And you would check with financial aid and see if it's going to affect your financial aid, okay? If it is you're transferring in or you're not doing well in a class, stop and talk to Willie and say, who can I talk to get help? I don't remember, but I think there's tutoring somewhere, right? And he will get you to the right people. All right, so we do provide financial assistance that is necessary to obtain your high-quality credential degree. When used with your federal, state, and other grants that you might be getting. So all of that other money is going to be first, and then the Promise comes in and cleans up the rest of your tuition and mandatory fees and the book stipend, the books and supply stipend. It does not have a maximum dollar amount for MCC students as long as your FAFSA is done. If your FAFSA is not done and your parents have not done their part, we cannot pay your bill. So right now, show of hands, how many of you have your FAFSA done and their parent did their part? Look at you all. Nice job. Nice job. If you need help with that, you want to make sure that you check with Welcome Center, any one of the people here who said, I'm here to support Promise students. Financial aid will hook you up with the right people, okay? Make sure you're asking for help. Parents, that account is for life. Students, your account is for life. So if you filled out a FAFSA at any point in your life, or you had a federal loan, you have a FAFSA account that you have to get into because they won't let you create a second one. Yay. Okay. This is all Leslie.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm just going to really quick, I have a few handouts out there, but this one's mostly for students. This is MAISD. It has some links about financial aid and resources. On the back where it says resources, this is where if you are going to do a student loan or anything like that, there's links for that. So you're going to navigate through your MAISD, and on the back has resource links that you might have need for. Also, one of our handouts up there is called Do You Need Money for College? On the back of it is just all of the state programs. So if you think that you might have been a TIP recipient, if you were maybe a child of veterans, anything like that, the state has a website that you can go to and check those things. And last but not least, scholarship information. MCC has our website that has scholarships that are for if you're in engineering, if you're a first-year student, if you're going part-time, so different things like that. So check out the scholarship information. We also have outside scholarship searches, that information for you, and how to apply for those through MCC. So I just want to point those out, are on the handouts up there. What will happen, so everybody, once you do your FAFSA, you're going to get a confirmation from the federal government saying, congratulations, your FAFSA has been completed. Within 5 to 7 days, we're going to get that download, and then we're going to review it. The federal government does choose 30% of the students for verification. That doesn't mean that you did something wrong, you just got chosen. And when you get chosen for verification, the college has to verify your income, how many people are in the household, maybe your identity, things like that. There's just different verification things that they pick that we have to verify. So you want to make sure that you're checking your MCC. I thought I had a handout. It must be on the next one. You know what? Oh, here it is. Oh, nope, that's the portal. That's okay, we can go back. Sorry. You're going to go into your MyMCC under financial aid, and then there is a drop-down box there, and you're going to, like how this says, select the award year. Make sure you select the award year for, even though that says fall 24, it should say fall 25. You're going to pick that, and there's going to be a drop-down box, and if you are missing anything, it's going to tell you what you're missing in financial aid, okay? You get a green check mark, and it's going to say we received, everything's good. You should be able to see an award in there. We have not award promise yet, so hold tight. You might have received an email through your MCC email that tells you, hey, we received your FAFSA, you might have received the Pell Grant, and you're going to say, well, I think I get the promise, I know I'm getting that, why isn't that on there? We will begin awarding that after July 1st. We have to wait for all of the high school transcripts to get through to make sure you're all graduated. We get a list from Lindsay, and then we go through it and award that. So make sure you're checking your MCC email. It's very important that you're doing that, okay? Let's see. Oh, you know what? There's a link here that I put on here so you could. Sorry. Oh, Lindsay. That's okay. That's okay. That was just going to show you how to check your financial aid. But it's under your MyMCC under financial aid, okay? Just make sure you're checking that. All right. I think that's you now. Yes.
That's why we watch orientation.
Your orientation videos will walk you through how to get there. Yep. Okay. So it's in your orientation videos. Watch them. Okay. While we're talking about FAFSA, there are 2 things that Promise students must do every year to use the Promise. You must complete your FAFSA every year. Some of you I know were at senior days. So when does the FAFSA open again? Everybody. I heard next year. Nope, it opens, it was December this year. This coming year, it opens October. So October 25, you can start your FAFSA for the following school year, which gives you a lot of time to troubleshoot anything that happens, okay? You also must accept your promise every year. So whatever email address you gave me when you accepted the promise, that's where your reminder is gonna go. Probably in one of those s'more newsletters. Raise your hand if you read my s'mores. Oh, good, some of you did. Okay, the s'mores that I send out, those have your reminders like, don't forget to do this thing this month. Okay, they are much shorter for my current college students because hopefully you already read the ones from high school. Okay, but watch for that. So every year, accept your promise, do your FAFSA. We will communicate with you electronically. So yes, I will answer the phone if you call me. If there's something and I can't get through to you, I will try and call you, but we are asking all students, because we have, I think this coming year at MCC alone, we'll have just close to 900 students right now. We're asking you to check your email. And we're asking you to respond to the text messages. We have the s'more newsletter, and we do have social media, Facebook and I think Instagram, okay? So make sure that your contact information is correct. Yes?
Do those emails go to MCC emails?
They go to whatever email you gave me when you accepted it. So, if you think you gave me your high school email address, you need to make sure you update that with me. You can either email me or you can fill out the form again. It's up to you, okay? If you opt out of the text messages that come from the Muskegon Area Promise, totally your choice, but I cannot opt you back into those. You have to then opt back into them. Filling out the form another time doesn't opt back in. You have to respond to the text messages with start, okay, to get them back on again. Same thing with the s'more. If you decide to unsubscribe from the s'more, even if I try and add you back in, it won't let me, so that people can't spam you. So if you want back on the s'more, you have to resubscribe to it, okay? Totally your choice, but those are two very important contact points, and I try not to send out a whole lot of spam. Parents, the contact information on the form needs to be your student's contact information. Legally, they are the person that is using the money. They are the person, according to federal law, that I can talk to, that MCC can talk to. If you want updates, you can subscribe to the s'more and you'll get the monthly newsletters that say, hey, it's time to renew, and then you can check in with your student, okay? Even if you have a FERPA form on file with MCC, that does not hold for the promise. The promise has to communicate directly with the student.
Real quick, I'm going to talk about the FERPA. So Lindsay just brought up a good point, and she brought up FERPA, which you're probably like, what is FERPA? But FERPA is a Federal Educational Rights Privacy Act. So the students, when you come to college, it's on you. You need to be the one asking questions. You need to be the one that's knowing what's going on, because if mom calls me and you don't have a form on file, it's called the FERPA form, where you can fill it out and say, Josie, whatever, and you list who we can talk to, and it gets turned into your account here. So when we call, there's a 4-digit PIN that the student and the parent create together, okay? And I'm gonna ask you, do you know what the PIN number is? You give that to me, and then I can talk to the parent. But if you call mom or dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, the student's living with you, I cannot give you any information, because the student that's their personal information, unless you're right there with them, and we can do that. But so it's a FERPA form that needs to be on file with us for us to talk to anybody but the student.
I hit the back arrow. Okay, so, student portal tips from IMCC. Here you go, Leslie.
So this is where you students are going to find your information about the promise, your bill, how much it cost. You're going to pull up in your, it's under student finance, and then you're going to go into account activity. And this one, I know it's really hard to see, but it will tell you the award, Michigan, a little pointer, thank you, Michigan tuition grant, Muskegon Promise grant, and then there's the Michigan Achievement Scholarship, and that will show you how much is going to be on there. And then it will give you a total, and it will say refunds, how much you're going to get back if you're not using all of that. A lot of times you might see it where it says restricted. Did we talk about that on here? I think it comes up. But, oh, okay, that's next. Okay. Oh, that's me. So a lot of our awards, anything from the state and the Promise might say, they will say restricted. That just means because we have at MCC what's called the census date. Students have up to 10 days from when class starts. So our classes start August 25th. You have 10 days, students, to make changes. You might go to class and the professor, there's something that you want to change your work schedule, you didn't like that professor, but you still need to take history, you're going to change it to a different day. You have up to 10 days to make that schedule change. It's not recommended because people are on wait lists back and forth, but it happens, right? So you have 10 days with no charge, no changes, and once it happens, after 10 days, we lock in your financial aid. We hit a button, and then we start reviewing it, and it's paid at that. So if you're at 12 credits, we're going to pay it. So your awards might say restricted until that census date hits. So don't panic, because it's not paying, and it's not showing a negative award on there yet till we hit that date.
So, and that's one of the things we get the most calls about from students is it says restricted or it says ineligible. If you got an email from me that you can read that says, congratulations, you have the Promise, they're not going to drop you from classes. You are going to have the Promise after that census date, okay? Okay. So students do have to pick up some of the cost. We hear people say the Promise is a free, absolute, no cost to you associate's degree. But if you have costs that are not tuition or mandatory fees, you'll get that Promise stipend for 2 semesters, $500 twice. Anything above that in that semester you would pay. So most students are still, because of all the other things you applied for with your FAFSA, Pell, TIP, Michigan Achievement, all these other things, you might still have a zero balance once everything comes off. But after that census date, if they've applied Muskegon Promise and your stipend, if there's still a balance due, you probably owe it. And if you're not sure, you would go to financial aid and you would say, Leslie, what's this money for? One of the most common things that I've seen this year is students who take a class that is not part of their degree. And so we can't pay for that, and the state can't pay for it, and the federal government can't pay for it. So you would make sure you meet with a counselor and schedule classes in your degree, okay? So that stipend is available. It started with this current winter class. So if you come fall, winter, and summer, you'll get the stipend fall and winter, not summer, okay? If you come winter for your first semester, you'll get winter, summer, and then you'll just continue with the next academic year, okay? So you get 2 semesters each academic year. Fall is the first semester of your academic year. You do have to actually attend your classes to get the stipend. If you enroll and then drop your classes before that census date and you have nothing on your schedule, they're not going to give you the $500. It's not going to automatically appear somewhere, okay? No scams. To qualify for financial aid, you must continue to meet your satisfactory academic progress. So Leslie's going to talk about what that means.
Another acronym. We'll have a test after the meeting today, see if you guys remember all these, but we call it SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress. So while you're receiving any kind of financial aid, you need to complete 2/3 of your classes, okay? So let's say you schedule 12 credits, you need to complete 2/3 of those, okay? We review all of these rules, that's the 2/3, a 2.0 grade point average, and you have to complete your program within 150% of your program. So let's say your program needs 100 credits to graduate with an associate's. You can take up to 150 credits to still get financial aid, okay? That's what that means. So we have to review that. It's a federal policy every year. At the end of the year, we review all 3 of those. If you're not making all 3 of those, and we check it every semester, if you And this happens, and it's okay, so don't freak out if you failed a class, you had to drop a class, you have wiggle room in there, okay? So it's okay. We review it, you might get a warning from us. We're gonna send you an email and say, we see that you didn't do so well this semester. Make sure you see somebody, we can help you, counseling, tutoring, things like that. But we put you on a warning. If you, the next semester fall into that again and didn't get a 2.0 past 2/3 of classes, you will lose your financial aid. But good thing about the financial aid and federal financial aid and state and local is we have what's called an appeal process. So when I talked about the little sheet of your My MCC and the resources on the back of the form, there's a way you can do what's called an SAP appeal. And so if you fall into that, first of all, just come see one of us because we can explain it to you. It's confusing sometimes, and we can explain what happened, how it happened, and what to do to get through this, right? You're going to do an appeal explaining life happens. Maybe something happened, a death in the family. Maybe there was an illness. Life happens. So you can do an appeal. You meet with a counselor. Counselor goes over that with you and says, okay, we got a plan, right? We know what's going to happen. We made a mistake. We're going to get through this. And then a committee meets over the appeal, and they say, okay, and they might give you a stipulation saying, yep, we're going to give you your financial aid back this next semester. We're going to review it. You have to pass all your classes and maintain a 2.0. You do that, we monitor it, you're good, okay? So we know life happens, but you do have to follow those 3 rules, but there is also a way to get out of that as well, okay?
Financial aid tips.
That's me again. Just some other things to consider. If you're looking for other ways to pay for college, we do have work-study jobs on campus where the student, you would work on campus in between classes. And financially, we have a work-study. He goes classes in the morning, he works for us in the afternoon. And then the student, you would get a paycheck, okay? Paycheck that you can use for paying for school, other expenses. We do participate in the federal loans and private loans through the federal loans. We don't do outside private loans. So there are the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Students, you don't have to have credit. Even if you had bad credit, if you are maintaining at least 6 credits, a student can maintain a student loan with us, okay? Just come see us and we can explain there's some processes you have to go through, but they are available. Military benefits, we tell you to check with organizations. If family members belong to like an Elks or a VFW, churches, parents sometimes have scholarships at their work. Check with your work HR people. They might not even know that and say, oh yeah, we do have a scholarship. The more you ask, all they can do is tell you no. So check with those things, okay? And again, financial aid, what we do is we review everything and we award your financial aid. Right next to us in our office, if you go on a tour, it's called Financial Services. And they're right next to us, and we work very closely with them, but they're the office that does all the billing and charges. So they're the ones that put all your charges on, they're the ones that take your money, they're the ones that are refund if you have a refund coming back. If you want to do a payment plan, so let's say the Promise doesn't cover everything, and you're taking extra classes and you want to pay that, but not all at once, they do a payment plan, okay? So that's the difference between our 2 offices.
Okay, so financial aid takes all of your free money and your stuff from the government, and they put it on your account, and then financial services sends you a bill if there's anything left. As a Promise student, if there is anything left, please stop into financial aid or get a hold of me and let us know so we can make sure everything went in that was supposed to, okay? Sometimes you have filled out the form, but you selected the wrong start term with me, and so I didn't put you on the MCC list, right? There are humans working in all of these offices, and like other humans in this room, we all make mistakes. We work really hard not to. So you don't need to go on a payment plan or pay for stuff if you see something due until you've checked in with financial aid and the Promise, okay? Please. We have students that panic, we have parents that panic. Now, if you check in with us and we say, nope, everything's right, that gym class is outside of your program, you picked the wrong gym class, then you need to follow steps to get that fixed, or you have to pay for the class yourself, okay? But always check with financial aid and Promise before you do any kind of payment, loan, or anything else, because our goal is to make that something you don't need, okay? We do want to make sure that you guys know a few things about the Promise. We have a Promise board who oversees everything that the Muskegon Area Promise does. They make the rules and follow the state laws that are in charge of the Promise. So, and we have private investors who have put money into your futures. So we really want you guys to be financially responsible. So we talked about you need to meet SAP standards every semester. If you don't, go into financial aid and ask about the appeal process, and they will help you get in touch with the right people. You need to attend an orientation by your college, so that online orientation next month becomes 10 minutes instead of 35-ish. You need to complete that, okay? You need to meet with a college counselor to make sure that you are on track to graduate and the classes that you have selected count towards your diploma. More than one student this semester has taken a class that isn't part of their diploma because they need a gym and it looks good, or they need a foreign language and this looks like a fun foreign language. Sometimes your counselor can look at it and go, oh, that makes sense because you're transferring to Western or you're transferring to Grand Valley, and they can add it to your plan and substitute it for something. But you have to see a counselor for that to happen, okay? They have to approve it, and then you have to talk to financial aid about that. Please make sure you're applying for other things like your FAFSA, other grants, scholarships that are for cost of attendance, not tuition, won't interfere with your Muskegon Area Promise, so then you can use that. You might be able to use another scholarship for a new laptop or additional books, or you need 5 sets of scrubs because the patients that you have are going to throw up on you every 30 minutes, right? Whatever that is, there are other scholarships available for those other cost of attendance items, okay? Willie German already introduced himself, but as a reminder, if you need help with academics, counseling and advising, disability support services, the Jayhawk Hub, Student Life, or the Veterans Office, you can stop and see Willie if you don't know where to go. Stop into the Student Success Department, or you can look it up on the MCC website and find the person, okay? We do not want students to say, I didn't know. So now you know. If you're not sure, ask somebody. There is probably help for that, whatever it is. Okay, so is there anyone that hasn't accepted their Promise Award yet? You guys are amazing, okay? This link does not change. It's the same one every year. So it's on our website. You'll get a reminder in the spring to renew your Promise. That will come to your email. Please make sure it's up to date. And clean out your old emails so that you can get new emails and you can find them. Okay, so that will be something you'll use every year. They also have the QR code in financial aid for you to scan if you lose it. Okay, now it's time for questions and answers from anything you've heard tonight. And probably 2 or 3 kids a semester. They should go to the counseling office and meet with a counselor. So you guys have a handout. If you didn't grab it, it's over on the table. It says who your counselor is depending on what pathway you're in. That counselor specializes in that area, but if they aren't available, any counselor should be able to look at what you want to take and then also say, yeah, that's not in your program. Let's get that fixed for you, okay? You would want to do that before that first 2-week add drop period so that you don't mess up your financial aid, okay? It's best to do it like this time of year so that your books are on time and all those things, okay? Other questions? Okay. No one? Yep.
Can you talk more about the above the associates?
Yes, so brand new, starting fall 2025, the Muskegon Area Promise is helping to support students who are going for a bachelor's degree. If you finish your associates or you max out your 72 credits and you transfer to Baker College of Muskegon and you're in a bachelor program there, we will give you a partial stipend to help with the cost of your bachelor's at Baker. So you can walk out of MCC with your associates, probably with no debt, because we're really working on that, head over to Baker and finish the bachelor's degree, and they're going to take as many MCC credits as they can, put it into that degree, and then you only have, hopefully, half a degree left, and we'll help support that. It is not 100%, but it is some money for it, and then they also have transfer scholarships, institutional scholarships. You can use FAFSA there, stuff like that. Okay? What else? Oh, there and then there.
So this might be a little bit unrelated, but when I applied, a while ago at the beginning of like October-ish, I sent in my unofficial transcript, and I need to resend my transcript, but the thing is the one that I have in parchment isn't signed or any of the graduation. You know specifically like would I have to tell the school so they can sign it, or can I request another one from my high school?
Yep, great question. We actually, if it's sent through parchment, we don't need it signed. If it's sent through parchment with a grad date, that counts as official.
Go for it.
So we just kind of a tour here earlier, they talked about studying abroad with Promise, is that?
Yes, good question. So the Muskegon Area Promise does support students who want to go abroad, that means outside of the United States, for a semester. We pay a large portion of that cost. So you have to be in MCC classes. They have a study abroad coordinator here who will help you with all of that. And then you file a study abroad appeal with the Promise. So you would want to let us know as far in advance as you can so that we can let you know this is how much we can cover, and then like we don't pay your airfare. You have to figure that out on your own, okay? But during your study abroad, you're going to take MCC classes, plus you'll take classes over in whatever country you're in. We will pay the tuition for those classes, okay? So you get an estimate from your study abroad coordinator here, and you would want to provide us with a copy of that with your appeal so that we can say yes to these. You got to use something else for these portions of it, okay? And it's once in your lifetime.
And we do have a table of flyers and swag and brochures up here. One of the things is a small bookmark about study abroad, and it does highlight on the back where you can go, how it works, a QR code for additional information. So it's a really great opportunity. I would encourage you all to check that out. So,
Other questions? By the way, study abroad is awesome. Just saying. Okay. Anything else? All right. Please, we want to know what we can do to make a night like tonight better. So would you please quickly scan the QR code? Parents can do it, students can do it. Let us know what we need to do, what worked, what didn't work, what we can do next time, so that you're not taking naps. Nobody took a nap today, though.
yeah, as Lindsay said, we do really appreciate feedback. We're always looking to improve this event for future generations of Jayhawks. And so after you do the QR code, feel free to come up, grab some swag. You can talk to myself, Ellis, Justin, Rachel's here, Willie's here, Lindsay, Leslie. We're all here for, individual conversations. And if you want to have a tour, just flag Justin down here, and he'll show you around the MCC house here. So thanks again for coming. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night.